over the discussions and kind of going over actually the best practices when it comes to social media. And I always like to work with this specific topic and discuss it as the joys of the new wave of marketing, because much of the outdated emotional connection, print, media, commercial, radio, billboard ads are kind of a thing of the past with social media, especially with your hypothetical companies and with you guys creating ads and things of that nature. A lot of these are going to be geared toward a social aspect, because it definitely allows for much easier and less resistant pathway for mass marketing for companies on a budget, companies that are startups, and companies that are kind of bootstrapping or really watching their pennies, so to speak. So let's go ahead and jump in and go over some of the options that are out there, and see what we can do with that. So the ones we're going to specifically talk about today is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, Kickstarter, and then I'll go over a list of some of the other ones that are out there that you can use and utilize. A lot of them go in hand, a lot of them go in sequence, and a lot of them can be used over each other as far as cross marketing processes. But anyway, let's go ahead and kind of jump right into it, and we'll talk about Facebook, which is one of the most I guess widely used marketing employees and engines as far as when it comes to ad creation and target marketing. Now, some of the key reasons to use Facebook is, the first thing is that there's 1.19 billion users on Facebook, right? There's that many different profiles and that many different people using the system and that specific application all the time. So it's definitely a good mode to know that there's a lot of audience there to work off of. A lot of things that are also cool about Facebook specifically is a much cheaper marketing tool than traditional agencies are. So when it comes to like overall cost as far as associated with social media through Facebook, I'm not saying it's cheap, and I'm not saying that it's free, but it can be significantly cheaper than if you tried to buy radio time or airtime on TV, or if you're purchasing billboards throughout various cities. A lot of print marketing can get very expensive over time. We're talking about like tens of thousands of dollars in like print marketing, or if you want to get a decent commercial, you're going to be paying a lot of money for, especially for a top level network, for a certain spot, and then you have to go in between certain time frames, etc. Anyway, it's a much cheaper tool to use than those specifics. And also what's really great about Facebook is you can reach an extremely targeted audience. It really can get granular as far as knowing exactly who your audience looks like, as far as demographic, socioeconomic background, regionalization, age group, you know, ethnicity, sex, whatever. It can really target whatever your specific audience or customer base may or may not be. And so you can get really finite and get really to the people that are looking for your specific products or services, and really hit the nail on the head, so to speak, as far as finding the people and finding that overall connection. Because the main point of marketing is finding people that want or need your product or service and making that connection, like showcasing, just getting in front of them and saying, hey, this exists and I know you need it, so here you go, right? So this can give you a really targeted group of ads and marketing campaigns and everything that needs to be done, because you can get really granular with all the information that is on Facebook about each and every one of us, where they can really get very set specific towards trying to cater to us as individuals and know exactly what our buying habits or what we're looking for to do. Another thing it also does is just having a Facebook site in general, as far as a business site, and pushing um, your marketing campaigns and slogans through there. It boosts your SEO, which is search engine optimization. This means that you're more highly sought after as far as where Google, Yahoo, and all the various search engines will rank you as far as capacity when it comes to whatever. If someone searches the product or service that you fall under, if your search engine optimization is high, and that you're constantly being searched for, constantly clicked on, your popularity will go up and you'll go higher on that list. And instead of being on like page 2 or 3, you might be on page 1. Like you might not be the first one, because typically that just have to be paid for. But if you want to pay Google, which that's another marketing system as well, but for the most part, you can really help your search engine optimization and increase overall web traffic with that, because it gives you another mode of people showing interest and searching and learning about your organization. Another thing you can do is utilize Facebook Insight for Business, because there are separate business account settings for Facebook, based on if what you're paying for, your preference, because you can pay Facebook to be very, very specific on your target market audience, to help build the ad creation that you put through, and who it gets in front of, as far as where they're going to show up in their feeds, and who's going to kind of get that information showcased or broadcast to them. So I always joke and say it's not just for old people, because a lot of times my youthful students say that Facebook's kind of for their grandparents or their parents, but it still has 1.19 or 1.2 billion users on it, so it's definitely something you still want to use modality wise. And because how granular it can get, and how specific you can look at return on investment with certain things, you definitely want to take a look at it and just kind of give you an idea of what that looks like. Is if you use Facebook Insight, which is, like I said, a business indicator of Facebook, this is a setting that you can pay for and utilize. It gives you exactly the settings of, as far as like pages liked, new pages liked, post research, engagement, and it goes over all the different. It gives you a lot of modalities of how your audience reached, what it's doing, and all that portion of it, and it gives you a really good understanding of all this data. It sets right in front of you. All right, so like I said, Facebook's a great platform. Many companies use it as a stomping ground, build a web business page, and utilize for that. Now, moving into Instagram, which is a little bit more popular and something that is very highly sought after and used in the marketing campaign when it comes to social media. Now, Instagram is fantastic for generating recurring visitors to your site, because Instagram, you can put a web link into your I guess your about you section, your autobiography, or your bio area, and they can link right to there. You can also push out content this way, and you can get a lot of recurring visitors to look over not only your Instagram page, your Facebook page, but also just your general site and overall. Can easily engage potential and recurring customers, because you can engage them with updating, posting. When someone follows you, you can actually see the feeds that come up. So when you're constantly posting and constantly putting out content through Instagram, you can easily get a reoccurring customer, just get engagement in general. Instagram has over 1 billion users as well, so it's definitely a platform that can be utilized very well, and there's a lot of people on it. Last time I looked at it, about a third of users have used Instagram to purchase items. So, hey, that's a pretty large number that you can bank on. Excuse me, that are actually buying items off of Instagram, and would be good uses for actually marketing, showcasing, and trying to actually gain purchases off of Instagram through ad sources and pushing out. There Now, Instagram's actual ad platform allows you to get the most advanced targeting available on the market in any social media aspect right now, and so you can get very, very granular. And they're also, like I said, they're an entity of Facebook, so they get all this information. They're able to really, really target and showcase that your ads are going to show up on feeds of people that have the tendency or are more statistically inclined to purchase your items. So it's definitely something that really works to your advantage. I mean, it goes in a lot of invasion of privacy issues, as far as when you talk to your Alexa in your house, or you just search things through Google. This information is stored, and if you showcase that, Facebook and Instagram, I guess hypothetically, might be listening to you, and with that information, they will push ads that match up to whatever your wants or needs are at that time. And so when you're having a casual conversation in your home or outside your home, and all of a sudden you're on Instagram and you see an ad pop up that matches something that you guys were talking about in this conversation that you never Google searched or never had any recollection for beforehand, it's pretty peculiar and kind of scary, but fun, and also, well, I guess more disturbing than anything. But as from a marketer standpoint, from your standpoint, as far as being a marketing person and marketing company, or just marketing in general for success, this is a great thing, because you can, like, people are talking about something that matches your organization. You can have your ad, you can have your information right in front of them, and they'll just scroll and find it, and it'll be readily available. They don't have to search. They don't have to make effort. It's right there. And also, one good thing about Instagram over like a lot of the other social media platforms is it differentiates between personal and businesses profiles. So you're able to actually depict which is which, and it makes it a lot much easier to figure out exactly who are real individuals and what are business profiles that are out there for business services as far as selling products and services, listing information, things of that nature. A lot of also what's really good about Instagram is they have they have Instagram ads. It's a function of Instagram where you purchase into, and you can actually have sales and leads that are trackable through this. You can actually you keep track of your return on investment on how these ads are actually generating and working for you. So I always joke that Instagram is not just for attention. It can be used for a very, very sophisticated marketing campaign and really, really honing and targeting your focus group as far as whatever your customer base, your clientele that you're looking to go after. And what it kind of looks like, the ads portion of it here, like it shows off the last 7 days, and it gives you a showcase of like purchases that go, and then also to let you know the reach, amount spent, and purchase through Facebook Pixel. Like it ties into the Facebook database, so you can actually see like where the revenue is coming from and how these conversations or how this ad is specifically working because it reached this many people. This is how much actually was spent by it, and and you can actually showcase like sales per day as far as spent, and it actually works really well out this way. Now, moving on to Twitter, my least favorite because I just don't use it. But anyway, so Twitter is something is very potent and popular, right? It doesn't allow you to really establish a lot of content, but you can put out your jargony ideas with a certain amount of characters on a minute-to-minute basis if you really wanted to. Now, Twitter has its normal benefits of any social media. Boosts SEO or search engine optimization. It'll drive traffic and brand awareness. It's one of those platforms that you can just kind of like, as far as marketing is considered, it matches all these criteria for just getting your name out there and driving more traffic to your site. But one good thing about Twitter is you can promote your content as far as you can add links, you can add hashes and things of that nature that will bring your user base, they'll draw the attention from the postings that you're doing on Twitter because they're following you, but then you can actually link them to content and very like specific items that you're trying to get them to view and see. Another good thing about Twitter, similar to many of the others, is that you can get instant feedback from users that engage with them. I mean, Twitter is a lot more of an engagement platform, so people kind of banter back and forth, or companies or businesses get more active with the user base as far as responding to their own tweets or retweeting and things of that nature. So it definitely gives you an idea of or ability to be a lot more engaged with your audience. And there's always those funny. You always will see those funny memes or those funny pics of companies that get really have really fun with their Twitter accounts as far as like ripping into people or companies or injustices, and just kind of like letting loose, so to speak, and having fun with it, which tends to make good PR when it comes that way. It also allows you to monitor your brand's reputation as far as how much it's getting retweeted, what people are saying about it, what your user group or user base is saying about your specific organization, company, product, people in it, whatever. You can really keep and monitor that really, really quite well. You also actively, like I said, can get involved with the outreach of potential customers. So you can tweet out a lot of information, but you can also just directly retweet and message towards your user base to kind of really draw that engagement and to get involved in the community mentality of what Twitter brings to the table. And so you can really hone in and work on that to do so in both a positive and negative way, as we've seen in the political spectrum, but also from businesses that have utilized it to show popularity and to also exhibit their coolness, so to speak, on that format. And then, of course, there's YouTube. Like every one of us has probably watched numerous YouTubes over and over again. It might be even something we do on a daily basis. I know my 4-year-old was obsessed with YouTube for like most of her 3 to 4 year life. Anyway, but great thing about YouTube is it allows you to easily release content, right? You don't have to go through a bunch of vetting processes. You don't have to make sure that it gets screened and approved to go through and be on TV or be a radio ad or something of that nature. You can just push out the content, and you can push it out and make sure it looks, however you want to. If you want to make it look crude and second rate, you want to make it look high end and professional, doesn't make a difference. You can easily release this content over and over again that you need to. You can also make your YouTube channel link very similar to your domain name, so you can match those up and use that as a traffic source. And also, YouTube allows you to embed videos onto your website. So instead of having your website actually house videos to play, or you know, paying exorbitant money for storage space to actually put things on your site, or just in general you're not able to do so, or even messaging wise, you can use YouTube to embed the video links into your website, so that way when they click, it simply just takes them to the YouTube page and it plays. It makes it much easier that way. Or it can embed directly into the site and just play immediately, open a window on your site and play it from right there. Makes it much easier for you for website creation, and like I said, to showcase your content without having to redirect them, without having to worry that your site won't handle the system. It's a very, very rudimentary way of doing that. It also allows you to recreate your own content or be original. So if you're a company that's not really a content creator and not really like showcasing that, you want to make like some kind of commercial or jingle or something of that nature, you can utilize that, and you can push out the content quite easily onto your YouTube page and try to cross market it with other sites and get it pushed through your ad sources, and try to get it to embed and pop up on others' websites that match as far as your user base, and you can really get some leverage that way. You can use YouTube ads, which is a platform is an area of YouTube, so you can actually advertise on the audience's videos they watch. So instead of if you're not wanting to be the actual content creator, right? You have your YouTube channel, you just run some general like commercials on there, right? Or general product showcases or service lists or whatever. But if you wanted to actually use YouTube, its user base, to actually target, you can do that. Meaning, like, that your demographic will be watching certain trailers, certain videos, certain YouTube channels. You can purchase ad space and advertising on those specific sites, and you can have like your ad show before something starts, or you can have your ad show in the middle of it, and something of that nature. You all have noticed this or seen it when you click on a link for a new trailer, or like a new game trailer you want to see, or something that you want to, or some video that you're interested in viewing, and you have to sit through an ad for a brief few moments before you can skip it. Like that was a paid advertisement, and the reason it was a paid advertisement is because that certain YouTube content was viewed enough that would deemed that somebody wanted to pay to actually put their advertisement on it. So there's YouTube as well. That's also, like I said, very popular to use, and something that's linked. And then I always like to caveat to LinkedIn. This is one you don't always think about as far as for a marketing campaign, and most of the students are very kind of like, I didn't even notice or think about that. But LinkedIn is a good way of marketing, especially if you're a business-to-business based organization, right? If you're not selling to normal consumers, you're selling to business entities, or even if you are selling to business-based consumers, LinkedIn is a really good platform to showcase your products, your services, and getting your name recognition out there. Because having a LinkedIn account, making sure that it's well up to date, it's professional looking, it's very informative and set up, it increases your credibility, and actually will generate exposure using a company page. As far as like when you join groups, or you start posting or posting content and showcasing things, that'll draw excitement, and it actually shows that you're a credible organization because you took the time to build out a social media and all that, and put pictures on it, and you possibly even put as much information on it as you want as far as your organization is concerned. But also on the recruiting side tool, you can actively recruit for talent and post jobs positions on this. So it's not just necessarily like from a marketing standpoint of always trying to find clients and customers. It is a marketing standpoint to find talent and people to work for your organization as well, because that also is a marketing situation that you want to draw talented people, or people that want to work for your organization, and you want the cream of the crop, so to speak. You want talented and good people to come apply for your positions, and LinkedIn is a good method of doing so. like I said, establishes credibility, gives you good exposure, and you can put jobs on there, and you can actually recruit actively, and you can find people's profiles or resumes that match up directly, and you can reach out to them specifically about a job position that they think they may or may not be interested in. Excuse me. But like I said, going back to like the business sales is also a great way of finding key people in the organization, the decision makers, and reaching out to them and establishing relationships. When I used to do inside sales for a business to business setup for IT sales, I would utilize LinkedIn. I would utilize a few other systems to actually like learn about who the kind of like the hierarchy of that organization is, and know who I needed to actually ask for when I called in, or even reach out to them directly through LinkedIn. And then but you can also join targeted groups and connect with key decision makers on this setup. So like there's tons of different groups on LinkedIn, from employment based, job position based, region based, whatever, expertise, people that match up to degrees or certifications. You can join a lot of these groups as a business entity, and you can utilize this to find potential customers or clients, or even potentially talented individuals to have apply for your organization or you bring in as employees. And then you can also hook LinkedIn to Twitter directly as well, and also Twitter back to LinkedIn, because with the hashes and the links that you can put in there. So it's quite a good sophisticated system to be able to put in front of you, especially in a marketing standpoint. And then the great old Kickstarter. All right, so Kickstarter is pretty much, I kind of like lump them all in. So any crowdsourcing or crowdfunding based site, Kickstarter is just the most popular and kind of most widely used, right? For their specific industry area. So Kickstarter is a great setup for marketing, and I talk about it as a social media because it has a very large user base that is interactive and is directly like socializing with one another on this specific platform. But Kickstarter makes really engaging and compelling video content is one of the things that you have to make sure that you do on there, because this is trying to draw people that are randomly on this site to potentially look for products and services that they like or want to invest in or potentially want to purchase down the line. It's a really good platform for showcasing like what you have now, as opposed to leading into pre-production and what you have like as far as the finished product. You can use Kickstarter to create a lot of buzz and interest in your company with like I said, fun ads, really memorable marketing employees and videos and content. You can really drive home and get a lot of interest in your organization from the start. And from that, you can show off what you have made, as far as like you can make a trailer. You can showcase how like sturdy the product is. I always use a reference of like there was a cell phone, specifically iPhone. There was an iPhone cover company that and they went on top of like a crane and they threw the phone off of it to showcase that their case would protect the iPhone even from such an extravagant drop. And so doing something of that nature, really is memorable, and it also shows off like how well the product is before they actually go into full-on pre-production. SmartLock did something similar through Kickstarter as well, and a bunch of other various tech companies did the same thing. Utilizing Kickstarter is a great mode for marketing and getting pre-orders and pre-sales, and wonderful tool to actually like pre-market before you do an exorbitant launch. Like you can do this like as you're fumbling through the pre-production phase, or you start putting out prototypes that you want to test. This can be the area that you can push out the Kickstarter accounts and really trying to draw interest, because you're trying to make everything work well. Now, some of the others that I'll just mention in passing, there's of course Yelp. I mean, if you're any type of business attracting patrons, residential, restaurants, etc., Yelp is going to be a very, very end-all be-all application for you to utilize, pay into, and make sure that your profile and your widely searched, it goes up pretty high, and also that you have a good rating, because we all know that when we do screen everywhere we go. So if we're thinking about a restaurant, we're going to most likely check the Yelp reviews, which it's a shared setup of people's experiences, but it gives us an idea of what's good, what's not, and some of the hangups that come with certain organizations or restaurants or businesses that are in our area. So it's a great ploy. So there's Twitch, Snapchat, Pinterest, Tumblr, Vine, Flickr, and even MySpace. I know, really, MySpace, really? Well, it still exists, and people do utilize it for social media platforms and potentially marketing. Mostly DJs and music on there. But all these different various sites are tools that you can utilize to get in front of your specific audience and base, right? So, depending on your product or service or whatever your customer base and clientele resembles and looks like, as far as a demographic and where they kind of fit and mold, and where most of your user base will be active, that's where you're going to go as far as your social media platforms. So, if you know that a big portion of your group is going to be on Twitter or Snapchat, Twitch or Snapchat or Pinterest, you can set up ad space and actually do marketing based on those specific sites. Same with like Tumblr or Vine. Like, you actually use these sites knowing that a lot of your user base or your clients or customers frequent these organizations and frequent these applications and sites, and you use them to push ads, to market, to get in front of, and really see your return on investment on the ads that you push through. So social media marketing has revolutionized the way that we market in a very good way, meaning that we can really see the return on investment on any ads or any purchases, so to speak, that we put towards any of these social media companies, because the data that's pulled and the tracking that's done with these things, we can see firsthand as a company owner if this is being profitable for us. As opposed to if we bought ad time on a TV station or a radio or put up a billboard, there's no real way of linking a sale, a customer, a client to a set advertisement of that modality, because we're pretty much just kind of throwing stuff out there and hoping that we generate some brand interest and people generate for that. Social media, like Facebook and Twitter specifically, have gotten so granular with how they can target that they can show you that these specific ads are doing better than others. Like, they can show you that the customer bases typically are falling under this kind of spectrum or have these statistical traits. So we can really hone in on that. They can give you an age range of typical customers and clients, where they live, what car they drive. And it's funny part is, you're like, how they get all this information? Most of it we just give to them. So so this isn't anything that's typically super evasive or super like spying. It's mostly just a lot of information that we've just regurgitated onto these sites that they utilize to make decisions based on if we're a strong or weak clientele to market to for specific products and services. So when you're thinking about the ad creation portion of it, and you're thinking about kind of the social media presence that you're doing, really give a thought to who your customers and clientele are going to be, and that will be your starting point for what you're going to do. I mean, if you're think about it from a business, from a company standpoint, if you're selling to other businesses and you're business to business operation, selling to other companies, you're not really going to look at like a Tumblr or a Snapchat, a Twitch, or a Facebook, because those are consumer or personal based systems for social media. You might look more at like LinkedIn, which gives you a pretty big platform of professionals and companies to market to that way. Because even though LinkedIn has a personal feel as far as there are personal people's accounts on there, they're all being showcasing their professional networks, meaning that you can really kind of harp in and kind of formulate these relationships, but also figure out who your clientele is going to be, pinpoint the companies and actually research the companies to see like what these people tie into and do. It gives you a better mode of reach out and to also get in front of the people that make the decisions and work well with whatever it is that you're trying to do for their product or service.